A lot of people have been wondering what happened to the streams in recent days. The short answer is I've been burned out. It gets really annoying when you sit here and you talk about things of all kind of subjects and issues, and then you have people who will actually get mad at you for just having an opinion that's
Yeah.
not the same as their own. But I felt the need to involve an ally of mine who we're going to call question mark, and he is here to confirm what I've said about broads, which the short answer of which is that you have a number of whom that you will speak with for a recurring amount of time that will act out in some manner that gets you to think, oh, maybe this person likes me, and then they go, oh, we're not doing that one.
Yeah.
All right, so do you have any stories you'd like to tell?
Um. Okay, so it was like this one girl. It was like I was talking to her, like one party. Then when I got to we met like next time at this other party. She was there a friend and like started acting like fake, like she didn't know me or I was some stranger.
I've never seen this man before. That kind of thing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Envoy, I've
Yeah.
actually, he has been doing his own thing as I also do my own thing and, try to improve our lives without worrying about somebody's private parts or any of that nonsense.
Yeah.
And yet, for whatever reason, we get condemned for it. Anything else you want to
Mm, that's kind of pretty much it. But
say? Yeah.
yeah.
But you have had multiple instances where you spoke with a woman for days, weeks, months, and then it ended up, going south or whatever,
Yeah.
and you thought she liked you.
Uh huh.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well, and a lot of people on here. And what's gotten really frustrating is that, like, so for example, you don't do videos about this stuff, but if you did, like, if you're on camera right now, people would say,
Well, if you look at his hair, that's probably the reason why.
uh,
Or, well, you look at his vehicle or his net worth.
and they don't even know what you
Yeah.
drive or what school you're going to, where you're located. It's the weirdest thing. People just assume, like, I've gotten used to it. People just look at me,
Yeah.
they say, oh, you're ugly. Okay, fine, whatever. But we don't all look the same, and we
No.
don't all have the same hobbies. I had one person make an account to tell me that because I was old fashioned and liked politics, that was the reason, right?
Mm.
Whereas you're not really into that stuff, but you have other hobbies.
Yeah.
Same results. And I've tried to elaborate that in my opinion, the reason why this happens most of the time is that you have people who have effectively said, you know what, if this guy doesn't meet my list of demands, which again is longer than the requirements needed to free the Americans in the Iranian hostage crisis, I'm gonna toss him to the wayside.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's been my perspective as one. A lot of people in here. There's five guys in here right now, or five individuals. We don't know what their genders are. For some of them we do, but not all of them. I just assume it's males. VVS says I can relate to his story. Something like that happened recently. Yeah, it's a mass
Yeah.
epidemic of people acting completely idiotic when it comes to who they decide to lay down with and give the time of day.
Mm.
And I've tried to use the same guiding principle when it comes to platonic and romantic relationships, which is that if the person, for example, makes me feel better about myself. So, for example, when you and I speak, we don't have any quarrels or issues and yell back and forth like
Yeah.
two maniacs in the subway. And for whatever reason, not wanting this from the woman that you're with
Uh huh.
is frowned upon. All you have to all you have to be worried about is how large her breasts are and how much hair she has coming down to the crack of her behind. And that's about it. That's all that matters, according to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And what's ironic is that when you talk about wanting something that's just you can speak to the person, enjoy their presence,
Yeah.
you're looked at as this oddity. It's this strange occurrence. How dare you see more in a person than what they look like?
Yeah.
What insanity! No, it's just it's absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
But it's part of the circumstance, the current era that we don't live in a time where people will say, "What can this person give me? What is this person nice to talk
Mhm.
to?" For example, you don't cook me food,
Yeah.
but I'm fine with you as as a person. You don't
Yeah.
bring drama. You can actually speak and have a conversation. If I tell you
Mhm.
something you're not aware of, you'll actually sit there and listen. A lot of these people, you can't even get that. You could not get them to listen to you if you tied them down.
Yeah.
They would find some way to like close off their ears. They put all their talent into just tossing things away. I told you about the one stalker I had who was making all these accounts to go and play the ratings game.
Oh yeah.
That is insane. And
Man.
these are the people that are giving you attention, the ones that are so undesirable because they're investing their like for example, people who are in here that just talk and say I've had this happen, yada yada. That's actually productive. You and this person are speaking it out, but it's like a running theme. People say I don't want this person to become some violent individual, but then they find themselves getting mad when someone just talks about it because you would think if someone's not airing this out right
Mm-hmm.
verbally, they're going to air it out physically,
Yeah.
whether that's mass violence, God forbid, or some other conflict,
Yeah.
and they don't the two things don't go together seemingly. Okay, so Brian says, so your friend question mark is in the same predicament is what I'm hearing. Understood? Yep, that's
Yep.
exactly it. We're two individuals who are disillusioned with how things are going. And Brought Vulture, who's showing up for the first time in a million years, is saying, "I love her. Don't judge me." I don't know who she is, but uh, Envoy said, "Well, Envoy, one of the experiments for doing this is that I wanted people to escape this idea because see." I can completely understand the need to look at me and play, internet psychologist and
Mm-hmm.
go, the shirt he's wearing, the size of his lips, the glasses, uh, yada yada yada.
I'm actually
That's
trying
why.
my best on this video. Look, my best is
Yeah, I got to put on a
video.
suit and tie to talk to some people online. But I can totally understand the reason for doing that because they want to believe something about this guy is the reason why this isn't happening, right?
Yeah.
So when they have people that don't look like me who have the same thing going on or
Mm-hmm.
have other stuff for me having the same experience, it scares them because they think to themselves, oh my God, he's not an oddity. It's a mass epidemic, which is true.
Yeah.
But they don't freak out over it to the point where they say, we're gonna try to do something to avert this. It's just put up with it.
Yeah.
Oh, some 30 people turn you down. So what? Get over it. This hyper masculinity that almost crushes the people who just want to live a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us don't want to bang some woman that looks like something out of a Playboy magazine,
Yeah.
most of which have all kind of diseases. But when we just say, "Oh, I want to go and meet someone who is, I guess, by society standard average," it's insane to them. It's like they lose their mind. They freak
Yeah.
out. Isn't that what you've had over there?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, Envoy says, "Is this your best friend from childhood?" Yes. Brian says, "Well, this disproves the notion only occurs to me." And then everyone's favorite sexual tomcat says, "Lose the neck beard." And again, this goes back to
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Exactly what
about.
you're talking
Now,
about.
let me ask you something. You've been around for a while. You're
Uh huh.
not 10 or 11. Have you seen men in relationships that have facial hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually had presidents that have had facial hair
Uh
that
huh.
they didn't have anyone discriminate against them or tell them, "Oh, you never get any woman to like you." So that's more
Yeah.
garbage. But again, we expect that from our residential sexual tomcat, that little degenerate.
Okay.
Yeah, he's over there trying to tell me how he wants me to look. I want to see Justin without that facial hair. I want to get an idea. And you ask yourself, this is a man telling that to
Yeah.
another guy. You will never hear from out of my mouth any recommendation of how you should look
Yeah.
because I couldn't care less. I literally am not interested in that. That's not my cup of tea. Envoy says, "Why is that just going to solve his issues? You're not understanding the bigger picture here." Oh, of course, Envoy. He's not here to understand the bigger picture. He is here to sell you, be your used car salesman and sell you a bag of goods and say, "You just cut this and the sky will open and rub a tub. You get an extra piece of chicken thrown
Your
your
life will
way."
change.
Yeah. No,
That'd be
Tavin's
so
gonna be
hype.
the next Joker in one of those upcoming Batman films. He's Heath Ledger's understudy. There's still other issues handled or outside. No, Envoy, what needs to be understood, even and again, this person is getting close to he's on his last legs. Our sexual tomcat. He's close to exiting. What needs to be understood is the fact that there is no set way to look as a male or female. You have women
Yeah.
who are bald who still get guys. You have women who are
I've seen the
overweight.
ugliest guys who get like girls. I'm like, what the fuck? Wow.
No, but all of these different there is no set way to look.
Nah, it's not.
Like you'll have plenty of people say this actor looks appealing to me, but I wouldn't date an actress or a person who looks like that actress exclusively.
Yeah.
Women don't enjoy women who are so nerdy. I'm sure they wouldn't if they're straight. Why would they? Again, this is people typing off. They don't spell check their own stuff. So he means to say women don't like men who are this way, right? But for whatever reason, they decide to just type something in there and hope that we
Uh,
respond back. And then this Tamari person is saying hello. I think I've seen them once or twice. Let me say hi back. You have to. Oh, and here's another good thing. Okay, our local sexual tomcat says you have to hit the gym, bro. So I want you to understand something. There is no video, whether on YouTube or at the now defunct Blockbuster,
mm,
where you see anything above my shoulder blade, and yet somehow this guy can tell I'm just this tub of lard who sits in the chair and somehow is so filled with all of this. And then and this is really weird. I actually have another guy who came here from this stream for this political candidate,
yeah,
who is now saying you're tearing up or something. I'm like, but if he knew I was tearing up, because he says again, right?
yeah.
Why would he show back up? I mean, he already knows what's gonna happen to him. He's on his last leg.
Oh,
Come on, man, don't walk the plank. Hey, this is funny, huh?
yeah.
Nah, man, these comments get weird. People just show up out of nowhere. They start trying to tell you, well, if you look this way and if you had this hobby, then everything would be magically different.
Man,
You must think they live in a Sears catalog.
yeah.
I mean, it's insane because I used to sit here and watch many of those relationship gurus online,
Uh-huh.
And Trex, this guy always seems to speak some logic. He says, women like to different looks in men. Short men attract females. Tall men attract females. Exactly. Um, I find it really funny that you actually have people who, again, are trying to tell you if you were just 6'11" or
Oh
whatever,
yeah, the height.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that suppose just changes
Uh-huh.
everything. Okay, the sexual tomcat says you just need to add muscle to your rather slender fame. Tavin says short men have tougher times attracting women. Now if they have a pocket full of cash, look at everybody's favorite Kevin Hart, whatever.
Man.
That's a story for another day. Oh no, Tamari, I'm aware of that. He says not all tall guys get women, of course. I mean
Yeah.
that's like telling me that not all presidents get two terms. We know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Tavin, I'm sorry, sexual tomcat. If you have no problem getting women, why are you in here? See, again, logic is lost.
Yeah.
It is not here. Okay, Envoy says there's advice everyone can give one another. Of course, I can tell you what worked for me with the ladies, but sometimes you just have to say it is how it is and call people out. Tavin says Kevin Hart is short, but he's also rich. Well, I made that clear in my comment.
Yeah.
Again, they do selective hearing. They like to think of one thing and then they ignore the rest of it. So I say, okay, this you say short people have a tougher time getting with someone of the opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
And then I give him proof that okay, someone who has a certain circumstance can get it,
Uh-huh.
and he just doesn't hear that second part. So, oh no, that didn't happen. I gotta explain this to him. Okay, Brian says, what's his point? On the word music theme, we'll have more political stuff. That is my main fight. What caused me to back out of the streams was the fact that you'll actually sit here, and again, our sexual tomcat turning into what do you call it? The Ferris wheel is typing the
Yeah.
same thing about. No, he writes it
But
again.
need a makeover.
No, yeah, right in the same, literally the same comment.
Uh-huh.
Lose this, and suddenly everything will change. I just joined. I don't know what's going on. Oh, no, I'm having an ally of mine who's been around for a very, very long time confirm
Yeah.
all of the, most of the things that have been. Oh, here, hey, our sexual tomcat says, turn the camera on your friend. Let's see if he's attractive enough.
Go for it.
No, I'm good.
Uh,
No, you can make your own channel. No, let me tell you why I'm not going to do that. First of all, you're in here with the majority of guys. If my stalker's in here, that's like 7 guys off the bat.
oh
All those accounts. But it's going to be males telling another man whether they're attracted to him.
yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know what way you could make that not seem homosexual. Just saying. Hey, I'm just airing it out, you know. Brian says, "Get a life." He's telling our sexual tomcat to do that.
Okay.
Turn the camera on your friend. I want to see him.
And I mean, if you want him, you know, I can maybe give you his profile, his the link to it.
Nah.
You won't, he doesn't have any pictures.
Yeah, I really don't.
No, you're not missing much. I mean, again, you're going to school. You have a job, yeah, position.
Yeah, I'm about trying to. Yeah.
Yeah, and this guy's whole entire career is logging onto the streams of a dude who literally has what less than 100 views on average, and typing about he's getting all these women, and then for whatever reason,
On your page.
yeah, irony. Okay, Tavin says I strike him as socially awkward, so I want to confirm we're not interacting right now. You're like this ghost. You're not even here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And again, I could see when it's like most of my stuff when you're not around. So I just go, oh yeah, I'm talking to these people here. But again, these are people who literally don't know you beyond a stream that is
Yeah.
10 to 20 minutes out of a what 24-hour day. So again, window into your soul. They can tell you who you are, what you're about, your perspective on things. It's insane.
Right.
Okay, Trek says looks are subjective. Just because you may feel females don't think a particular guy is unattractive doesn't mean all women you perceive you as unattractive. He's basically saying that not every male is going to find a woman attractive, not every woman is going to find a guy, which is
Yeah.
correct. I don't see why our sexual tomcat can understand that. Why this degenerate can't comprehend the truth, which is that different
Yeah.
strokes for different folks. Bra Vulture asks, "Is your friend going to be part of the stream?" Question mark is already part of the stream. He's already participating.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to be seen because all you guys do is like to tear people down over how they look. A lot of you. So all kind of nasty things. And you'll be sitting there, you go, "What? You're really writing this to me? What did I do to you?" You almost think you're getting attacked for some reason just because you said something you didn't like.
Yeah.
You know what y'all made? Okay, I don't know what he's typing. That's some ebonics. Envoy says he knows about everything that women want. LOL. I would think the woman he's with would want him to talk to her as opposed to sit up in the stream with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
But okay. The music fiend says a male's look doesn't matter as much as a man's social status and personality. Man, stop typing the same thing. Or Tomcat, get out of here. Like it's annoying after a while. That's a bit of a headache. So we have 12 people, 4 likes. Wow, I wonder what the ratio is. I already told you about that one guy.
Yeah.
That is insane. Every day just logging on. Did he put anything
I'm
else?
surprised he not come up yet.
Oh no, he showed up probably. I'll know soon enough when I log out of this. Because when you do it on the phone, it doesn't show you the other part. You just see the likes. So we'll find out. Okay, you won't expect a fat guy to attract a dime. Envoy says now his messages are being. No, I'm getting rid of those. We don't. That's enough. Gibberish out of him. If he can type something that's constructive, I'll let him. But our Tomcat got boring after a while. We need some progress.
Some kind of originality.
Yeah, he says right the same thing over and over. Evan says, "I'm a good guy." I'm sorry, our sexual Tomcat says, "I'm a good guy. Just try." He was an average good guy who left stupid comments in my live stream. He was an average good guy who left retarded comments in my stream. Dirk says he didn't even get a notification. I'm sorry, Dirk. I'll send you a personal message next time. And here's someone I've never seen before, Red Gotham Wolf. Oh! And then our sexual Tomcat has turned into some kind of activist talking about retardation is nothing to joke about, just saying. Well, we're talking about someone
Yeah.
who's choosing to write things that are moronic, not a person with an actual mental deficiency. I'll tell you this: if our sexual tomcat wanted to know about the American oligarchy and the actual problems of the U.S., like how half the
Uh
population
huh.
is poor and how all the most of the politicians are bought out by corporations,
Yeah.
this guy would be a genius. But instead, he wastes his time going to my streams, going, I'm gonna say this about you and how you look." So that ends up being his main fight,
Yeah.
to go in the guy's stream and tell him, "Well, you don't look the way I want you to look, so we're not gonna have that." Yeah, Dirk. He was an average good guy who left the dumbest comments in my live stream. He was an average good guy who left the dumbest comments in my live stream. Why he thought that was good, no one will ever know. Oh, he's typing something else. Say it ain't so. Is this a collab stream? I hear this. I guess it's a collaboration. You know, you're sitting right here,
Yeah.
chilling out, hanging out. Yeah, he's okay.
Don't have a page though.
I don't blame you. Hey, I truly don't. You know, it was sad. It's kind of funny when I think about my YouTube career, having just doing political stuff. Even when people would sit there and like call you all these names, that was perfectly fine because I knew they were talking about things I was actually saying. With this, it's just, oh, we're gonna talk about how you look, and if that doesn't work, I guess we'll kind of start to say something, respond to what you're saying, and it gets kind of annoying after a while. That's why I stopped for a bit. You know,
Yeah.
no man, but when you do political stuff, most of them just disappear. Some of these people, they will literally just, they're like Jimmy Hoffa. They will not show up ever again.
Mhm.
And you ask yourself, you know, what causes them to just be so invested in the sexual life of another? And look, you know, it's different. You are, okay, that's cool. Yeah, if he, our sexual tomcat is saying, I'm trying to play victim. I'm just trying to help you. Yeah, this is for friends like that who needs enemies. And our sexual tomcat is saying he's my friend, which is, we know what side of the street he's working on.
Yeah.
Envoy says, I love these live streams because everyone can communicate with one another besides the idiots that come in here. Uh, the music fiend says, sometimes I just don't realize uh, you're streaming until it goes on the front page. Dirk says, romantic retardation like being too nice or other nonsense. Have you been too nice?
Hmm?
Have you been too nice? People accuse you of being too nice. You need to be meaner. You need to, scowl and bite puppy tails off. Is that what they try to tell you? That you're too nice. You're too
Too much of a nice guy.
yeah.
Maybe somewhat, somewhat.
You ever get tired of that? Because you said to yourself, I'm just me.
Yeah, I am just me. You
Yeah.
just sound.
I, you know, I mean, I know who you are. I know you're not a
Yeah.
prick. Oh boy, that's our sexual tomcat. He's saying this.
Let's see.
No, he's talking about the guy. No, he is completely falsifying every single thing. He's trying to claim that I went to high school with him. I didn't even go to high school with you, but I've known you much longer than
Yeah.
any of the people in there. Again, they get into this thing where they start grasping at straws and trying to find ways to seem exciting or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Ask him if he's telling the truth. That's what they're. One of the guys asked him if he's telling the truth. If we truly went to school together, I can actually sit here and say I didn't, and you'll still have people asking, "Are you sure? You don't remember that guy that was?" No, I don't remember you. I mean, I remember most people because they weren't
Yeah.
anything worth remembering, but still, told you it is an amazing cycle. But do you have any like major points you want to lay out here? Like a lot of times you have people who will say, um, it's problematic that like if you don't get women, you're going to be a shooter or some other nonsense. Do you think that's annoying or that's messed up or what? Because remember,
Yeah.
my argument has always been, I'm going to cut you off. You can't make someone like you.
Yeah, you can.
So do you think it's ridiculous that people act that way?
Yeah.
And this guy is now claiming that he's an alumni of the same high school I went to and all this nonsense. But any like actual major point you want to make?
I don't know. Not right now. Nothing that comes up right
Yeah, I don't blame you. But like I said, I don't have a page. Like, yeah, I don't. I, that's not a bad mentality to have. Okay, Dirk is talking about this group of guys. Ryan says this guy must be stopped. What else is being written here? I think Broad Vulture left another comment where Dirk said, "What is your definition of romantic retardation?" Let me clarify what I meant by that. Um, my issue and what I call romantic retardation is the fact that you have people who actually. So, for example, let's say I'm a woman and you're a guy,
now.
and you treat me decently. You're
Yeah.
always trying to contact me every couple of days, every day, whatever. It depends. And then I go, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna go get with this dude that is not in school, does not have a job. Because what they a
Yeah.
myth they try to tell you is that you need to have these things to appeal to a woman. And while these are things that a lot of people would like,
Mhm.
we've seen multiple cases where guys don't have to have any of that stuff to be
Yeah.
successful. Look at the Jeremy Meeks case. Here's a guy who sat in jail for what 2 years, a year, whatever,
Yeah.
gets bailed out by a woman who is inheriting millions of dollars. This guy didn't have a buck in his pocket
Man.
and was able to just get this woman to go and to where she bailed him out.
Just by a
Yeah, just
mugshot.
by his
Like she don't even
picture.
know.
Doesn't know a single thing about the
You don't
man.
even know why he's in there.
No, well, we know why. It was some kind of gang. They just swept up a whole bunch of dudes. But the point is, she does not know anything about. She didn't go and investigate
Yeah.
what he was in there for. You can't even get these people to go and pay attention to their own local elections. Talk about investigating the guy you're with, man. Please. We already know the lack of research. That's all the intellectual laziness that goes
Uh-huh.
on. Okay, Envoy is saying this guy, our sexual tomcat has evolved. He's 6'4", 220 pounds of lean muscle, has no problem getting women that knows everything about them, not just some things, but everything. And yet he still finds himself sitting in my chat room. Now that's some indoctrination. He knows all this stuff about these women. He's this very attractive guy, ooh la la, right? And
Uh-huh.
yet somehow is sitting in my chat. I must be doing something right, like to make him just want to come back
Yeah.
in here. It'd be funny if I had like one of those little stands to put the camera on, and I could like do a little sexy pose, like my
Just
arm back like that. Yeah, it is crazy, man. And then what's sad is that they always talk about why don't you just get rid of this person, right? Like I don't have to get rid of them. Just talk about something else.
yeah.
Just discuss anything political or any like news story.
Uh-huh.
They will leave you alone. That you will see the number of people. Like, dude, I knew the second I turned that thing on, you're gonna have 10 times what you normally get, right?
Uh-huh.
But anything of actual substance, because that's hard to catch on to,
Yeah.
they just disappear. Okay, Red Gotham Wolf. Usually, people who claim these things aren't what they say they are. Uh, Well, I get that. When I claim what I claim about the difficulties with this romance stuff, I have this on file. I have the text messages. Um, this has been proven by the record.
Yeah.
And so when I have people who tell me, "You must be making this up," that's why the category was comedy, even though the stuff automatically gets labeled as comedy because when you upload stuff on here, it,
Mhm.
it catches the category of what you had before. But they can't pick that up. They play selective. And I've had news story streams labeled as comedy. And people didn't doubt that.
Yeah.
I said, oh, this school got shot up. They're not going to say, oh, you must be joking. No, they knew it. But they couldn't apply the same logic when it came to other things. And I got to a point where a lot of people, oh yeah, that thing is coming VVS. I just have to go and compile all of it together. Envoy says there's also the social part. Uh, yeah, I'm sure our sexual tomcat says he follows the political stuff as well. Yeah, and I'm an alumni of Harvard. Yeah. Okay, Envoy says there's also the social part and being able to communicate well in personality. It's not just gym. Yeah, Envoy, they act like
Yeah.
once you have a six pack, women just drop their pants. I mean, what?
Yeah.
it's amusing,
Yeah.
and one of the mistakes I made wasn't actually because I like to talk to certain users on there. So like you have
Yeah.
Envoy, you have Brawl Vulture, certain people that VVS guys
Uh-huh.
that show up over and over. But then you have people who will jack the stream and they'll just go and say something that's completely diametrically opposed to what I had to say.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit there and go, man, did you just hear a single word that came out of my mouth? I had a guy, I kid you not, who wrote the video was like, oh, you can't make someone like you, right? He's like,
Mhm.
but I've been where you are, but you have to understand. I read this to you a while ago. Uh, you have to understand. You can't make you have to do these things to get women to like you. Da, 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 da. And then a couple of paragraphs later, because he's writing all just loads of stuff. I
Yeah.
I want to just take his stuff and put in a novel, sell that book. He goes, it's not the woman's fault or your fault. Like, wait a second, weren't you the same person just told me that it was my behavior that was
Yeah.
the reason for why this didn't happen?
Man.
He's talking out of both. He's talking out of
Yeah.
both sides of his neck. It's not their fault or your fault, but you need to do all these
All these
extra.
things.
You need to make music, build a model kit, this other nonsense
Uh-huh.
to appeal to them. I thought that was insane.
Man.
Again, added to the fact that he later said it's not their fault or your fault. It is their fault because if two people say we're going to do this, it gets done.
Yeah.
If you and me get together and we say we're going to make a movie, and it's going to be just me and you going around the neighborhood and talking to
Uh-huh.
people or whatever, that gets done. If
Yeah.
I say I want to make the movie and you say no, screw that, it doesn't get made.
Yeah.
Simple as that. No, they're just it's comical. Tavin says I'll prove my political prowess. Yeah, go watch the oligarchy video. If you can make it 10 minutes into that, I'll be impressed. The hair on the back of my head will just stand up for the next 2 weeks. Okay, Ryan says I show up constantly because I genuinely enjoy the content. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, anyone who's actually there that is, in favor of what is being done here, I appreciate them for paying attention. The problem is you've had like I never wanted a majority of my stuff to be known synonymously with, relationships and all other nonsense.
Uh-huh.
And I tried to explain this before. What got me to talk about it as often as I did was when I was interacting with people such as yourself and another guy on here as well, who I knew personally
Yeah.
and I thought, pretty highly of. Um, and for whatever reason, they were experiencing the same trouble I had.
Mhm.
That's when I became a lot less depressed about this, more so disillusioned, right?
Yeah.
Because you say, wow, this is just this massive epidemic that no one wants to address.
Uh-huh.
And that's okay. I'm really ready to start talking about how ridiculous all this stuff is. People that are worth the damn are getting screwed over
Yeah.
because some woman said, you didn't meet my list of demands.
Kind of like that. So.
Yeah, the list that was longer than the
Yeah.
requirements to free the Americans in the Iranian hostage crisis.
Man.
The list that it, that was longer than whatever that treaty was that Trump and Kim Jong Un signed in that summit meeting in Singapore.
Man.
Bravo Vulture said, I like your streams. I'm mostly here for the ideas and content. VVS says real talk. No, VVS. Look, I wasn't even planning on doing. Envoy says list longer than the Declaration of Independence.
That's what I said.
I kid you not. On one website about 2-3 weeks ago, and I read this to you.
Uh-huh.
That woman had 5 bullet points what she wanted you to have. I was like, man, you get out of here. Talking about you can't like Trump. You can't. What was the other one? Like cats
Yeah,
or
more
no,
than
like
dogs.
dogs. No, like dogs more than
There you
cat.
go.
What's wrong with you? Or the one that said, I want you to tell me your job, and you don't even know my name. That was literally insane.
Man.
But yeah, the biggest motivator is people like you who I think very highly of having troubles with this nonsense and the
Mhm.
fact that I couldn't sit on it. I couldn't just because I always like to convince myself I'm just this piece of trash, right? And nobody likes me. And I that proved to be anything but the case
Yeah.
when other people are having the same issue.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, it's very interactive. It's just people don't interact sometimes in a way that's really um, that much willing to hear out the other person. For example, I can empathize with the idea that someone can look at this and say, by talking about this stuff, you've ruined it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because a woman knows you talk about romance, she's not going to want to approach you. Problem was, I was on this site for not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, but 8 years almost, and nothing happened with any women either in my personal, just I met in
Mhm.
person or outside or just online, right?
Yeah.
It never happened from 2008 to 2015. I had stuff I didn't talk about any of this. It never changed.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, screw this. I'm going to talk about it. And even the year after that, I didn't speak about it at all. Really until last year, because I at that point I said, here I am year after year going through this online and in person. This is ridiculous. And seeing it happen to people that like yourself, who I had some high opinion of,
Mhm.
said, man, I can't let that slide. Take that sitting down. They want you to just get turned down and go into your own little corner and go, I guess I can't say anything. No, I'm good. The envoy says he's here because it's interactive. Uh, Trek says I blame the liberal media for brainwashing millennial women, uh, personify ignorance. Well, that's kind of the thing. A lot of the people who are going around and saying that, your characteristics are mine are not ideal are they're speaking from a point of what they themselves like.
Yeah.
If I told you that it's attractive to me for a woman to, I don't know, have some skill like being able to cook or draw or write or something that they're able to do as an
Mhm.
individual, that's just me. You might not care about that stuff. And more often than not, I don't care about that stuff enough to say, if you don't know how to write or draw, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Listen, I am people have actually alleged that, we have at least I have high standards, and I've amended my standards over and over again. I've you know said screw being my ethnicity,
Uh huh.
screw being a certain height, screw
Yeah.
being a virgin or not having had
Good.
multiple
Yeah.
guys go in and out of you like a train tunnel. I accepted
Yeah.
that, but for whatever reason, you get more people who will come on here and will find some other reason to dismiss against you. You have people who call somebody who talks about this homosexual for being like any other human and having emotions.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not sitting up here talking about, oh my God, no, I'm telling you what is a problem, and we're speaking about this in a pretty
Uh
calm
huh.
manner. And for whatever reason, they think that is somehow weak. And what's weak is to go around and shoot places up and take it out on the whole world that you can't get with somebody. We're
Yeah.
not doing that. You and I will continue to advance ourselves in our hobbies and
Yeah.
various goals. We both like to have a woman there with us to do it with.
Mhm.
But if they want to continue to play the game of meet every single one of my standards or you get dumped, and screw them.
Yeah.
It's a simple doctrine.
It is.
It says I'm
Yeah.
welcome to what you can give. If you can't give anything, go away.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes a woman. She says not well. No one said all, so I don't know where she got that from. If people put words in your mouth, they just
They
jump
put.
in. You see it. You see it. They just
Yeah.
jump in there.
Like, what do you mean?
Oh.
Now this is a new person who's been showing up for the last couple of streams. I don't know what Gemma's doing in here. This person is the only. Whenever you have one woman in there, it always feels so weird because it's like, are they going to do that thing where they try to condemn you for coming down on a group of people that's bothered you? I already outlined this is not everybody. You wouldn't have, we wouldn't exist if that was the case.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go. Okay, bye. I don't know what
Because
to
they know
say.
they want some.
Yeah, they're welcome to stay in here. Just don't allege that I've somehow condemned everybody. That's anything but the case. It's insane, man. They put so many things in your mouth. I had a guy who came on here talking about, are you a misogynist? It's like, what? I just told you that they can, be as worthy as males are of anything if they put their minds to it.
Uh huh.
Problem is, we've raised an era of intellectually lazy people who get away with. I wasn't gonna, but okay, well, go. Don't say bye. Just leave.
Yeah.
Why do they have to announce that they're going? Like this epic departure. I will be exiting soon.
You
Sion
want to say bye, bye, whoever your name is.
Felicia. Remember that old meme?
Mhm.
Uh, and what's funny is this. Let's say,
I was about to say like this is the craziest time. I actually almost got close, like the closest I ever got. It was crazy. So, me and this girl, like at this party, we was like vibing or whatever.
Yeah.
I was about to go to like her place. Want me to tell you why though?
Well,
She couldn't. She was drunk, but it's like we was both drunk, but it's like we could. She couldn't find her keys, so she was like searching off, and then she went upstairs. The door closed. I came back the other way. I never saw her again. I swear to God, she man, that was some Batman shit. Yeah, that was funny.
hey, you're gonna hear the old '60s cartoon playing in the background. All right, let me read what Envoy said. Let's say a woman makes a video about men who aren't worth a damn, and she runs these group of men to the ground. Why would I care? LOL. It doesn't relate to me because I know I am worth a damn. LOL. Well, that's been the point I've been trying to make. That if
Right.
someone knows they don't follow these same patterns, why do they feel the need to defend this behavior? So, for example, if someone were to make a video and say, "Oh, I'm tired of these guys who will go and up to me and I don't know, will just say they want to jump in bed or some kind of nonsense," right? I know I
Mhm.
don't do that, so I'm not going to get mad at her for condemning people who do that, regardless
Yeah.
if they're male or anything else. I don't understand this weird unity where people want to call themselves defending someone who they know
Mhm.
nothing about. That person you were talking about, they don't know who that is, but you'll have somebody in the comment section going, "That person, she was good, she was nice, you did something to her."
Man,
No, no. Once they started coming in here and defending people they've never met before, they never went back.
he never went back.
Yeah, it was the beginning of an era of just stupidity, to put it the least.
I'll give him credit for dedication.
Yeah,
They was man.
yeah. Writing comments that completely miss the purpose of what I'm talking about seem to be their purpose. So I'm disgusted, but I appreciate those who participated. Thank you.